If your final drawing has been tested in the wind tunnel and your teacher has given you approval to print, what you need to do is we only want the one car that you are actually using. So if you have any blanks or works in progress or anything like that, you can draw a box around any of that stuff and then hit delete on your keyboard. From here, you need to make sure that you've made any changes, because if you try to open up the layout software, it's going to say you must save your SketchUp file before sending it to layout. So here I'm going to click on File Save. Once it's saved, then I can go ahead and click on Layout. Layout is a software that professionals use for printing. It would be nice if we could print without the Pro version. The issue is that you can't print to scale, so that means when I draw 1 inch in SketchUp, I can't print my drawing to be an inch on the paper unless I have the Pro version. So I'm going to have you scroll down to the A3 landscape, the one that does not have any blue grids on it. Select it and click on Open. Once it says Open, what I want you to do is click on the box and drag it up towards the top left corner, stretch it out a little bit, and bring this up to about halfway. Then what I want you to do is click on it, and I want you to hit Control C on your keyboard, Control V for paste. Now it's actually pasted directly on top of it, so I'm going to click and then drag this down. So the top one here, if I look to the right where it says default tray, you might have some of these drop down things selected. The only one that we need to look at is the one that says SketchUp model. So if anything else is selected, you can go ahead and minimize those. So with the top one selected, I'm going to go here and click on Ortho. And for standard view, I'm going to scroll down to right. So now I can see the right view of my car. But the issue is that if I look at current scale, it's 1 to 1.95 or whatever yours says. It could be different. We want to make sure that we are printing to scale or full size, so 1 to 1. So again, when I draw 1 inch in SketchUp, I want it to print exactly 1 inch on the printer. So I'm going to click on full size. Now you might have an issue where your car has disappeared and we need to get it back into the screen. So somewhere along this blue area, I want you to double click. And you're now going to see the orbit tool. And please do not mess around with the orbit tool, or else you have to come back in here and reselect right view. But we want to right click, and then under camera tools, click on pan. And we want to bring this to the top left area. Now the bottom one is going to be a little tricky. Ideally, we would like to be able to just click on top view, but if you look at top view, it goes in a different direction. So what I'm going to do, if I scroll over, we have a hand option, which is the pan tool. All that does is it changes my center, which really is not going to make a difference, but we want this feature right here. So the solid dot gives me the option to rotate. So what I want to do is I actually want to rotate this 90 degrees, and I'm going to try to keep the back of the car relative to the back of the car on the side view. And I want to reposition this box, so I'm going to have to shrink it down. Bring it up a little bit, stretch it out, and I can bring this up a little bit. If we look at the current scale, it looks like we have to click on Ortho, change the scale to full size 1 to 1. Same thing as we did last time, double click, right click, and you'll see that it is now vertical, and that's okay. If we click on camera tool and pan, just as long as you can center it in this box here, when you click off to the side, it will go back to the horizontal view. Okay, so we can see that my right view and my top view are now relative to each other. The next thing we want to do is we want to actually print this out of the printer. So up at the top, I'm going to click on File. First, we want to do a page setup. Now, we don't want to print on letter size, which is the standard 8.5 by 11. We want to print on legal. So go ahead and select legal and OK. Before we print, it's really important that we look at the print preview to make sure that your entire car, top and side, is going to fit within the paper. So this is exactly what it's going to look like when it prints. Now, before we do that, I'd like for you to click on the text tool. Somewhere in a gap in between here, type in your first and last name and period number. So I'm going to do Rachel Domer, period 3. And the last thing we're going to do is print, and what I'd like for you to do is to print 2 copies. If you look here, 1 copy is going to get placed into the black bin on Mrs. Domer's desk, and the other copy is going to go towards cutting out the outline and tracing that onto your body blank. So again, make sure you type your name and click on print, and now you will get 2 copies printed out in the printer.